Hi. Okay. So once again, everything has changed. Not entirely unexpected, but still kind of one has actually said surprising. I am sure you have heard in various levels of hysteria and mania that yes, school is officially out/remote for the rest of the year. What that means for you specifically, especially as seniors, is still being determined. So please refrain from jumping to any conclusions or making any wild, rash decisions. The people who make these decisions for the district and the school get this information like an hour before the public. They don't have time to figure it all out. So, are you done? That was a governor's recommendation, not a mandate. The district has to figure out, so what does that look like? Is your grade frozen where it was when you left? Because that's pretty early in the term. Do we still forget about essential skills if you're supposed to be on track to graduating? All that has to get figured out, so hold off. Nothing's going to leave you in the dust. There is no result where they say, well, how about then they all just repeat next year or something like that. I will say if things go that direction, and I'm trying to hold off on planning until I find out what's happening, but not very successfully. If they went in the direction of saying seniors were done, my hope would be, if you wanted to, individually, to basically create a film club or an arts club, something that is like, basically it would be a way to maintain community, be a way to maintain connection and expose you to interesting movies, interesting stories, etc., without any necessarily academic expectations. So we can talk about that if that's the direction it goes. I realize a lot of people might be like, nope, I'm gone. But I would want to put that out there. As far as what you are doing with the current piece, at least for now, again, this is just taking these animation concepts and putting them into interesting films. Both of these, of course, very commercial, accessible, interesting movies, but that do some creative things within the framework of animation, especially, as I talked about in the intro video, using styles of animation to communicate something about the text. And it's not necessarily profound. It's just interesting, and especially, I think, nicely articulates where you can take, within the same narrative, within the same story, wildly different animation styles and put them next to each other, and it works. It becomes something that becomes a part of the narrative. Now, in the case of WALL-E, for some people that was really jarring, that it looked so realistic and then suddenly looks so cartoonish. But that's something to think about. Did it not work? What was the intention? And so forth. Looking for just observations, as I mentioned, really try to move past the literal. They don't have to be brilliant. They don't have to be super successful. It's just a matter of thinking about it. What's this really about? Once it becomes universal, what is this story about? But you can start with the basics, right? I used Ratatouille here as to give you some examples, just thinking about, okay, why animation? Well, a bunch of rats in a dishwasher would be disgusting. Wouldn't be funny at all. If you had a rat pulling somebody's hair and making him move, that would be silly. But that's getting more into, we get it in a cartoon realm. That kind of idea. And then says just putting up a free response. Like this would turn into something more essay-ish later. This is just you putting your ideas down on paper. What did you see? What did you notice? What stood out? What was funny? What was confusing? Things like that. And then, about 2 paragraphs and typed, and the reason for that is just so I can read it in Google Classroom. And then we'll go from there. So, again, if you want to drop in for office hours today, I think that's from 1:30 to 2. Double check. Oh, it's literally right in front of me. It is 1:30 to 2. Again, there's no discussion. That's just if you want to stop in because you have a question or you want to just say hi. Or if you have questions about school, if I can answer them. All right, so I hope you're enjoying the films. They are both great, and I will talk to you later.